What's up, guys? So here is the winter village. This is probably how I'm going to set it up. So we have the home alone house right there. We have like this random little stand. This I'm thinking about maybe building like a stand around it and having it like set there, so that way it's supposed to be like the North Pole and kids can take pictures by it and stuff like that. Then I'll probably put these buildings over here somewhere. It's kind of random, doesn't really look that great because the buildings don't really match up that well. But that's basically what I have and what I'm working with. The trolley is going to go straight across and it's just going to end because I can't make it go in a full loop or anything like that. Then Christmas tree is going to be somewhere in the center. I'm going to put as much detail in there as I can. I do have the white plate. Hopefully I have enough. If not, I can go to Legoland again to get some more. Then have some white brick and some smaller white plate and some other pieces that I got from Legoland that I'll be able to use. So hopefully I'll be able to get this all put together for y'all. And without keeping y'all waiting any longer, let's start the time lapse. So to start off, I pressed the train tracks straight onto the base plate. I thought I was going to have to raise them up, but apparently you don't. You can just press them straight onto the base plate. And then I started laying the white brick around the outside edge. I didn't know if I was going to have enough to go all the way around. I ended up having enough, so I went ahead and put that all the way around the edge, so that way no dust can get up under the base plate. You can see I started laying the big white plates on there, and then I laid the 1x plate on the edge of the train track because you need 2 layer of plate on top of the side of the train tracks to fit under the regular plate that goes on top of the nose plate. And I basically used every single 1x white plate that I had. I still had a few smaller ones, but of all the bigger ones, 1x8s, 1x10s, 1x6s, I basically used all of those for that train track. So you can see I don't have a whole ton of pieces. Then I started laying the 2x2 brick on the back side of it, just spacing them out exactly where they need to be to fit under the 6x8 plate. And I started to use most of the ones that weren't white, just so if I did need the white ones out for up top for details, I would have them. Then you can see I put the building right there because that's actually going to be embedded. So that's on a regular base plate. And so what I did was I just set it directly onto the bricks. And what I did not know is that if you set a base plate directly onto the bricks, it actually lines up perfectly with the plate that you stick onto the brick. So that's an interesting fact for y'all, that it just slides on there perfectly. And I didn't even know that it would do that. I thought it was just going to be slightly off and I was going to have to work with it, but it ended up working out for the best. And then at this point, I realized that I did not have enough white plate, and so I started taking the ones off the front where I really wasn't putting anything and putting them on the back, so that way I could set the Elo builds on top of them to see exactly how I wanted to put them and which order I wanted to put the whole buildings in and all that. And then I had to go to Legoland and get more white plate, and since they don't do it by weight anymore, I went ahead and bought another $80 bag of pieces because they don't do it by weight anymore. So I had to just get the whole bag, and this bag was packed. I could barely get that zip uh, all the way closed on the top. So I got a few Ella pieces that I'll use, I'm sure, down the road in Ella builds and mocks and whatever I build down the road. But I made sure I got the white plate. They were almost out, so I almost had to figure out a different solution. But luckily, they had just enough for me to be able to get enough that I needed to finish all of the plate on the bottom. And then you can see I got some 2x4 tiles, and I was going to put those directly under the train track, but I didn't really like the way that worked, so I ended up just putting 4x plate underneath, and I thought that looked better, so I went with that. And then I do add all of the buildings and the tree and stand and all that onto it. But then I ended up switching it and adding another tree just a little bit later in the video. Then for this dusty sidewalk on this building, I didn't really want to have to build a whole sidewalk. So I just put snow on top of it on this both sides. So you can see I'm putting it on one side. Then I'll put it on the other side. So that way I just didn't have to finish that off. And I kind of like the look because I have a guy I'm going to put out there and he's going to be like sweeping off the snow, which is a way to get out of building a whole sidewalk and still make it look pretty good. And with that, this is what the winter village looks like currently. So you can see I added a big tree. That's my brother's. The home alone house and all that nose plate and everything right there. Like this is all separated. that's all his, and then that tree's his. That's also his, but I added a stand for this. So this is supposed to be like a little like picture thing. So you have a photographer up here, they'll take a picture with the elf, and then you can have like a kid up here, pretend to like at the North Pole. And I built this stand for it. It has the stairs going up to it. Then it has stairs going up. These are supposed to represent footprints on this side. And then I built the railing on the left and right side. I didn't put it up front because then it would get in the way for the picture when they're taking it. So I built two railing. I thought it ended up looking pretty good using these brown cylinder cones. And then I got the gold leaves, and there goes that tree. But I just got that. You can see the little headlight brick right there. Then you can see back there I put a little horn, and then I did the same thing back here. On the other side, you can see I have some dark red pieces as well as a black headlight brick. That's because I don't have brown ones of those pieces. Like I used everything for this. So not a whole lot of pieces, but that's what I did for this. And the feet are dark brown, not only because that's what I had the most of, but also because like it is in snow, so maybe it's like a little bit wet, because it's right there down next to the snow. But that's that. And this is probably how it's going to be set up. This doesn't really matter where it goes. It's going to go somewhere right here, a couple studs in. Doesn't really matter. And then I have this pile of snow that I added. It's not stuck tight yet, but I'm going to stick that tight right there. And then I added a piece of snow right there. And then this tree is going to be right here on this far corner. But that's probably what it's going to look like. Now I just got to add the minifigures, and then I think it's going to be done after that. And just like that, there is all of the minifigures added. So I have this little boy right here with the letter. Gonna send it off to probably Santa Claus. The trolley is here. I don't have the roof on it, and it can function. It just the wheels aren't in here because this is technically my brother's motor, and he needed the wheels for another train. So it could go across. It will be going across. It just goes back and forth. But eventually I will just set this up on there with proper wheels and the roof and everything like that. I put a little Christmas tree here. This boy is about to buy something from this little stand. I have a nutcracker and a reindeer right there by this big Christmas tree. And then there is two people right there that just bought stuff from this musical store. That lady's waving. And then we have the old man over here who's sweeping the snow off of the sidewalk. And then I decided to add a snowman right on top here. There's one thing I did forget though, and that is a person to take the pictures for kids. And then of course we do have Santa Claus up on top of the Home Alone house, which adds an extra nice detail. And then you'll have to excuse the creepy van that's right behind the Home Alone house. This is probably what it's going to stay like. I hope every year, so next year if I do set it up like this, I hope it gets better and more details, because I'm going to be slowly but surely getting more and more pieces. Maybe I'll have the pieces to build trees and stuff like that next year. Let me know what y'all think about this setup. And let me know if you want me to try to put lights, like actual lights, like maybe across the Home Alone house and then behind the tree and then up on top of these buildings. Let me know if you want me to do that or not. Doesn't matter to me. It's just whatever y'all want me to do. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's go to the next one.